Hey everybody, Andrew back here with another video, and just a reminder, I have the microphone really close to my face, so my voice is probably really loud, but just go ahead and turn your volume down a little bit and it'll hopefully block out some of the surround sound that I have down here in the basement where I'm living at. So that's the idea behind having the mic so close to my face. So this video here, it's two things. My inspiration, my reason for making the video is just that, like, you've probably heard that, a positive mind state is all you need to be happy, or like something like that, like happiness is key or whatever. And just something that, kind of states that no matter what situation you're in, no matter how bad it might be, keeping a positive mind state allows you to not only continue going through whatever situation, whatever circumstance you're in, but allows you to do it in a positive manner, and just by going through things with that positive manner, oftentimes it creates positive outcomes. And so that's kind of what this video's about. But on top of that, it's a bit of a reminder to myself that, because this is something that I find myself, in a negative outlook a lot of times, thinking, like all the things that I find myself drawn to and I find myself wanting to achieve and wanting to do in my life. They're not things that most people want to do, and just even saying them makes a lot of people very, very skeptical, to the point where I've been called insane and things like that. And, from a logical standpoint, I can understand why they would think that it doesn't make sense, that it's crazy. And so sometimes, rather than, understanding that I'm drawn to these things because it's what I enjoy, it's the kind of person I am, and I'm a rare individual, sometimes I, get into this negative state of mind. Maybe I am crazy, maybe I am insane, maybe it's all fake, maybe I've wasted the past 2 years of my life trying to do things. And, it's like, even from the standpoint that that's true, right? There's no reason to have that negative mind state, if that makes sense. Like, even if I am crazy, even if I am insane, or if, your circumstance, even if it is all bad, that doesn't mean you need to, let that drag you down. Why not be crazy and happy about it? Why not be insane and happy about it? There's millions of people out there with mental illnesses. There's millions of people. For God's sake, there's freaking, like, I don't know if this will really click with you, but, like, 90% of our animals, and I'm just thinking about this because this morning I was, like, looking at my birds, or my dad's birds, and it just, like, kind of made me sad because they're just stuck in a cage. They can't do anything with their lives. They don't have any kind of freedom, or at least close to the freedom that we have as people, even though even as people we're not necessarily free. But even completely caged and trapped, like, why would those birds be feeling sad about it? Why should I feel bad for them when they're probably not feeling bad for themselves? And maybe they are. Maybe they hate being slaves. Maybe they hate being captives. But me, as a conscious, and I'm not saying conscious as, like, a badge of gratification or whatever that says I'm good or something. I'm just saying, like, I, as a human, am a conscious being, aware of my own existence, basically. And so my advice to the birds would be, don't hate that you're stuck in the cage, because from, a logical standpoint, if we were to let those birds have freedom, if we were to give them all the freedom that they wanted, they wouldn't know how to survive in the world. There's no chance they would be dead within a week. So we're actually giving them the best life that they could possibly have by feeding them, giving them clean water and all kinds of stuff like that. So even though their situation's bad, there's plenty of things that are positives or whatever. And so you can take that into your own situation, your own circumstance. And I certainly, sometimes need a reminder that I need to do that for myself, because, when I'm feeling crazy and stuff, it doesn't really make sense for me to feel crazy, because I know there's hundreds of thousands, or I don't know if there's that many, but there's at least thousands of people out there who are like me. I mean, who think the same way, who have a similar understanding of the way that things work, and have similar goals, a similar vision of what the future should look like, and similar things that motivate them to carry on through each day and stuff. And yeah, I definitely just need I need motivation to or I need a reminder to stay motivated. Sometimes it doesn't make sense for me to not be motivated. It doesn't make sense for me to think I'm insane, or else all those other people are insane also. And again, even if that is true, then we're at least living our lives happily. We're at least enjoying every second of our crazy lives. And all the logical people out there, they're looking at us like, dude, these people are crazy. But they're also stuck in a cage, and, metaphorically, they're stuck in a cage and they're hating their lives instead of enjoying what little they have and the gifts and the things like that they have. And so it's just like the video, I mean, I'm already like halfway through the video, but the video is a reminder to myself, and hopefully a tap on the shoulder to you, to stay positive about the situation you're in, no matter how bad it is or whatever. I don't even know why I'm wearing this headset. It's just uncomfortable. But yeah, well, that's crazy. I'm just taking off the headset, like, I can hear so much more. It's like a total shift in headspace. Like, kind of lost my train of thought just because there's so much more going on without the headset on. But anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna kind of go a little bit off of topic, and hopefully I'll get back on topic a little bit later. And so just like I like to think one of the things that makes me crazy, that makes me insane, which is not actually that, it's actually a key, it's actually something that's opened me up to the ability to love every moment, or accept every moment, or whatever, and be happy about it, stay in a positive state of mind, and therefore create a positive outcome out of it. And what that is a connection with your body, a connection with your feeling, a connection with your heart, as some would say. And so often, we're stuck in our minds, constantly thinking about something. And everybody knows, in general, let's get out of our minds. Every once in a while, take a break, relax, and just kick back. But what that means to each individual is completely different, because most people fail to realize that thought, let me get out of my mind and take a minute to relax, is part of the mind's, activity. That's something that the mind is now interested in. It's something that the mind wants to do, is to, not be on, basically. And so it's impossible to then try to, not think, because you've already started this kind of circle where it's like, once you get 10 minutes into not thinking, you're like, well, that was nice, I guess, but now am I supposed to go back to thinking? Or like, well, did I even get anything? I feel pretty normal, like, so it means something different to every person, and most of the time, even though everybody knows it's a generally good idea to get out of their minds, I feel like most of the people don't actually know what that means. They don't actually know how to do it. And so the key for me is to go into your body, to be connected to your heart, to be connected not only to like your senses, but how your senses make you feel on a deeper level. Because, like I said, just taking off my headphones, the audio of the surround sound of my basement, it not only changes my train of thought, but it also gives me certain sensations and, all these kinds of different things. And to tune into that is what I'm talking about. Not just like, oh, my leg's sore, or like there's a lump in my throat or something like that, but just like, how does that lump in my throat feel? Like, really, how does it feel? Like, let me tune into it and feel it. How does the soreness in my leg feel? Because at that point, you're not so much in your mind. I mean, you're making the thought to do that thing, right? And so the mind is creating this process, but it's an entirely different process than something that you usually do. And so to me, it's kind of like a key to, go into your body on a deep level and actually feel how you feel. And this connects to the topic of the video, because if you feel a lump in your throat, and you feel sore, and you feel trapped in a cage per se, or anything of the sort, it doesn't feel good. I mean, like, I'm not even talking on a deep level, it doesn't feel good. I'm just saying, in general, being sore, it doesn't feel good. Having a lump in your throat, being sick, feeling like you have to wake up and do the same thing, and you're stuck in a pattern. These things, they don't just feel good naturally. That's not how it works. But if you tune in on a deeper level, and then look at these things and say, okay, and I hope that makes sense. When I say tune on into a deeper level, what I mean by that is just like, for example, with the whole waking up and being stuck in a trap, stuck in a pattern, stuck in a loop, doing the same thing every day. It gets exhausting, it gets tiring. You want new things to happen, but what is the actual feeling that you have about those things? Exhausting. How does exhausting feel? Is it tiring? I mean, yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking like deeper. How does exhausting feel? Frustrating, a little bit. You're starting to get there, Does it make you feel like there's no escape? Does it make you feel, all these different kinds of things? And you tune in on a deeper level to each of these things, a sore leg, a lump in your throat, whatever. And you, from that point of conception and understanding of what is going on in your life, you then shift your perspective by saying, okay, I want to be positive about this thing. The thing in my leg, it's not just like an agony that just freaking happens because I exist and I walked to work today, so I have sore legs. It's no, my muscles are actually growing. Like, there's a benefit to these things too. The lump in my throat, well, it's because I smoked a cigarette, and smoking a cigarette is something that I enjoy to do, not on a regular basis, but every so often, to just kind of calm down and relax. In this working thing, although it may suck from the bird standpoint, right? Although I may be stuck in a cage, it doesn't mean that there aren't things to look forward to. For the bird, it's going to be some nice seeds and fresh water. For us, it's going to be a paycheck in which we can use to, get safety, to provide ourselves with food, to, whatever. And so these things that genuinely feel bad, when you tune in on a deeper level to how you actually feel about them, you're able to, at that point, shift your perspective and have a positive viewpoint about these things. And so then something that was previously, painful and draining your energy and taking away from your inspiration, you're now able to be excited about these things. You're able to be happy about them happening, and therefore you're able to come quicker to whatever outcome that you're in. And it's crazy to me how much we are like that bird stuck in a cage, because the human race as itself, like I said, I have a vision of what I think the future should look like, and I don't think that there should be jobs. I don't think that there should be boxes that everybody lives in and they have to pay a shit ton for them. I don't think that, all these things that previous generations have put in place and don't plan to get rid of at any point soon, I don't think that they're necessary. I don't think they're things that we should have in the first place, let alone that we should be planning to have for the next thousands of years. Like traveling space and stuff, yeah, that's cool. I'm down for traveling space. So I'm glad we got to where we're at, from a positive perspective. I'm glad that we're at where we're at and we have the technology we have. So sure, let's go explore space and stuff, but let's learn from what we've done, like let's cut down the technology so much, maybe be a little more, like, just like natural, I mean, it sounds like dumb for me to say it, I feel like, to a lot of people, but like I said, there's no reason for me to feel dumb about that, because a lot of people feel the same way. And it's just like, in a lot of ways we're like the bird in a cage, because everybody has their own kind of cage that they're in. We all have to go to work, we all have to get a house, we all have to get transportation. For the most part, we all have to have friends. Like, we're social beings. We all have to go out there and make relationships, which takes away from our free time. For introverts, that sucks. It's like, really, I have to take away from my time to recharge to go out there and freaking try to make friends, because if I don't, I get depressed. Like, oh, it's just so annoying, and it's like, in a similar way to those birds, we're forced into the situation we're in. There's nothing we can do about it. We are absolutely stuck, and you can be frustrated all you want, and you can try and, just like fight the system any way you want, but is it really going to do anything? Is it really going to make a difference? Just like fighting the pain in your calf, or fighting the lump in your throat. Or fighting, the job that you have. None of these things are ever going to be beneficial to you. You instead have to change your perspective about those things into a positive perspective, which then allows you to carry on through your daily, repetitive, patternish tasks in a positive manner, and actually look forward to them the next day, because they're leading into something good. And so, yeah, it's both for you and both for myself. So I hope that you get something out of it, and I mean, I'm sure I'll have to look back at this video a million times. Hopefully I'll be able to understand it from a negative state of being, but yeah, I'm trying to, sorry, I keep coughing. It's probably great on your ears. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to add, just for my own sake. Yeah, so I guess just like when you are, when you're feeling like you're kind of stuck, when you're feeling like all the things that you want to have happen, they don't even matter in the first place, because one, you're likely, or not necessarily likely, not going to have them happen, but there's a chance that they don't happen, and there's a pretty much guaranteed chance that they don't happen exactly how you plan to have them happen. And you just don't have control over how it's going to turn out. And in the grand scheme of things, from my point of view, what does it matter how it turns out in the end of things anyways? I mean, after all, we're just kind of like a little speck in a universe, right? But not only are we only a speck in a universe, we're a speck in a multi-dimensional universe, in which we are only in a one-dimensional plane that's probably a dot in comparison to everything. So not only are we a dot in our own dimension, but we're our whole dimension is a dot to the grand scheme of things. So, you know, what does it matter if anything happens at all, you know, from my standpoint? But the thing is, you know, one, you don't really have control over it. There's nothing you can do about it. And two, just shut up and freaking enjoy it, because there's lots of things that are good and there's lots of things that you can enjoy. So, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully that helps you out. Me too. And yeah, I don't think there's anything left for me to say. I personally just have to do some like specific thinking on like my own circumstance, on how to, you know, change my own positive or change my own outlook on the situations I'm in my life. And I suggest that you try and do the same thing. But I feel like it's kind of a never-ending thing. I could do it for the next 10 years of my life, and there would be new events coming up and new, basically, aches in my leg that I have to shift my perspective on. So it's kind of a 24/7 thing that you have to be doing, or not that you have to be doing, but it's something that you can be doing 24/7 would be a better way to word it. But then again, you know, there's not so deep things like an ache in your leg that is easy to shift your perspective on. And then there's things like, oh, we're a freaking dot in a dot, like, you know, and that's not as easy to shift your perspective on. And so, you know, some of these things take years of thought, some of them take a second, and, you know, so it's just something that you gotta, whenever you're in a bad mood, whenever you're feeling down, whenever you're feeling like a bird stuck in a cage, you have to take the time to figure out what is good about the situation you're in. Look forward to those things and keep a positive outlook, because no matter how crappy your situation is, no matter how bad you feel, it's what you got, and it's, I had a better way to phrase it. Not only are there things to look forward to, but you can genuinely enjoy it. You know, if you shift your perspective, then it's not even a bad thing in the first place that we're a dot inside of a dot, because, you know, it's just not. And it's difficult to explain how, but you have to think about it. You have to go in and find out for yourself why it's not. Everybody has their own motivations. Everybody has their own reasons for being here. And by being here, I mean a person, why you were born. Everybody has a reason why they were born, and it's not to be trapped in a cage and suffer. And there are good things. So, yep, that's the end of the video, guys. For the third time, I hope it helps you. Hope it helps me in the future. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace out.